Hey, quick story for you here. We've seen it happen more than once here in the Twin Cities. A deal is moving along just fine, and then right before closing, a furnace issue, an electrical concern, or even a roofing question pops up. And suddenly things get stressful. That's exactly why we created our worry-free closing program at Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric. We send a licensed technician out to check the furnace, AC, electrical safety, water heater, and water softener, coordinate a roof evaluation with a licensed roofing contractor, and provide a full report on all the home's major systems. We can do this during due diligence or even before a home is listed, so potential issues get caught early. If you're a realtor or you're buying or selling a home, there's a simple way to keep things smooth. Twin City Heating, Air, Electric, built here, stays here.
From working in his family's Chinese restaurant, to bartending, to becoming present-day owner of Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric, my father's true superpower is human connection. Now, he's on a mission to capture the most fascinating stories that make up the Minnesota community. You're listening to the Twin City Tales podcast.
Today on Twin Cities Tales, we've got someone whose story is about way more than desserts. Joining us is Anh Huynh, owner of Sprinkle of Hope, a local food business built around health, community, science, and heart. Anh was born and raised in Vietnam and came to Minnesota at almost 19 years old with a belief her mom planted in her early. If you set your mind to something, you are capable of doing it. She went on to study biochemistry at Augsburg University, graduating with a 3.97 GPA. Can you imagine that? And now she brings the science background into the kitchen. Some people even call her the chemist baker because she doesn't just make food. She understands what every ingredient does and why it matters. But what makes Anh's story so special isn't just the food, it's the mission behind it. Sprinkle of Hope is about supporting local farmers, knowing where your food comes from, making desserts with simple, honest ingredients, and using business as a way to make an impact. Anh bakes cakes for foster children, shows up for kids in shelters, dressed as a fairy, and believes something as simple as a birthday cake can tell a child you matter. This conversation is about courage, coming to America, building a life in Minnesota, using science and food, supporting local, and choosing people over profit. So if you love stories about purpose, resilience, community, and doing business the right way, this one's for you. Anh, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. That was such a good introduction.
Well, thank you, but well deserved. I just feel like having a conversation with you in the past, just really, I just admire where you've come from and how you started doing this, you know.
Oh, thank you.
I just feel like you have so much more to go because you're still young, and I have to admire that.
Oh,
And
thank you.
it doesn't hurt when you brought over a few cakes for us for some more special occasions, and we loved your cakes. And I hate to say it, I'm very lactose intolerant, and so is a few people in my family. It helped all that. So tell me a little bit more. At the beginning, I want to take you back to you came over from Vietnam, right?
Yes, born and raised.
What was your family like in Vietnam?
I was raised in a very tight-knit family. And so my mom and dad were high school sweethearts, and they were each other's first love, and they still act very much in love now, after decades of marriage. Yeah, and one thing that I really miss about growing up in Vietnam was that I lived very close to my grandparents. So it's nice to hang out with them and have meals together as a big family. We don't have to make appointments to have dinner with our parents or our grandparents or uncles and aunts. It's just whenever we feel like having family over, we just give them a call or walk a few houses down and say, hey,
Yeah.
want to have dinner? I miss that. Yeah. Um, so
You know,
sense of
it's cool that you say that because I feel like our cultures are a little bit alike. I mean, I was born here, but I look back at the culture of what like the Asian culture has sometimes more of is like when you're in Vietnam or if you're in China and some of these other places, like the grandparents sometimes when they can't like live in the house anymore,
mm,
they'll go live with family rather than like go to a nursing home. I mean,
yeah.
it's really huge. And I think that family bonding is really great. I know it's a lot more work for families to take
Mm-hmm.
care of like aging parents. And I think it's a convenience thing sometimes, or we're just so busy trying to take care of our own families that, but I think there's something to that and really develops that family bond.
Yeah. And also in Vietnam, it's very common to live with our parents. It's not that we're a dependent under our parents, but it's more of a community, a family that live together and share things
Yeah.
with each other.
Yeah, I think we get separated more when we don't live
Mm.
with our parents. And I think sometimes, and it's just me, like the norm, right? Like when I was younger, being Asian, kind of, they wanted you to stick around the house, but yet
Yeah.
the society here kind of says, I'm not living with my parents anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've raised them for 18 years of my life. I'm off to college. I'm not living with them ever again, right?
Yeah, well, that was me. I remember when I was 18. I remember I was a very hard-headed kid. Um, well, I told my mom that if I were to have a kid and my kid is as stubborn as I am, I would rather not have kids. I don't want to deal with that stubbornness. I would rather not have kids. If karma were to hit me, it wouldn't hit well. So I was very stubborn. So I thought that my mom nagged at me all the time. But moms, they have been there, done that. So they want the best for you. So they
Yeah.
always want to give the best advice. And looking back, I did take all of her advice. Please don't show this to my mom, okay? but when life gets hard, I would take all of her advice, take care of yourself better, prioritize your health first. Your health comes first. Work out in the morning. Uh, do strength training. Do yoga. It's like and believe in yourself. You can do anything. Yeah, but I was like, Mom, that's too much. Who needs to work out anyway? I'm young and healthy, and yeah, I thought she was always nagging me. And one day I just told my parents, well, I don't like you guys nagging at me anymore, so I'm gonna move halfway around the earth to the United States. Like, I'm gonna move out, all right? But not just to another city.
Uh,
I'm gonna go somewhere as far as possible. So here I am.
Very nice. I feel like sometimes the Asians are a little more hypocritical too. So you get that sense of like that when you talk about, right? Because I just remember like
Yeah.
my parents and I've always kind of been a little bit bigger and heftier, right? Even though I outplayed sports, I just remember the Asian community or like uncles and grandparents. On one hand, they'd say, "Oh, you fat! You eat too much." Because Asians do that. They're like no qualms, right? And like their nicknames, like for bigger kids, like "Oh, fat boy." You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of demoralizing, but it was just you kind of knew it, right? But one hand, they would say, "Hey, you should eat more vegetables. You should eat more fruit, right?" And then on the other hand, they're like, you eat more, and they'll fill your bowls with like all this fatty food and
Yeah.
stuff. So it just seems like our culture is a little more hypocritical, which is kind of fun.
I
What do
can
you
see that.
What do you miss most about Vietnam?
I miss my brother. I miss my brother the most. I'm very close to my
Okay.
brother, and we get along very well. And like I don't get to talk to him as much because the distance put uh the far distance
Yeah.
also apply to our relationship now as well. But when I was in Vietnam, and even when I come back home to visit my family, we connected very well. Yeah, I really miss my brother. Yeah, I sent you some pictures and
Yeah, I think that would be hard for me too, to miss family, right? Like, and you're like the one in your family that came over, right? Kind of thing.
yeah,
So besides
yeah,
you had an aunt here or something, right? So
I do.
I'd have a tough time. I think being homesick would be a tough one, you know.
Yes, being homesick is tough, especially when life gets hard.
Yeah.
Because I view my family, my mom and dad and brother, as my biggest supporter, and it's hard to live far away from them. And even it's not that if you want to call them, you can call them whenever. It's a 12-hour difference, between Minnesota and Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah.
So it's not that whenever I want to call them, I can. Well, yeah, but I'm very thankful for video calling.
Do you miss the food there? Because I think food is also processed a little differently there, isn't it?
Well, I just came back to Vietnam 3 months ago.
Okay.
I'm pretty sad to tell you that I think my taste bud is my taste buds have changed. I actually preferred Vietnamese food here compared to home.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because in Vietnam they don't put a lot of seasoning in
That
the
makes
food.
sense. Yeah.
So it's not a lot of sodium, not a lot of sugar, MSG as here.
Yeah.
So I'm grown to be used to eating food here. So
Interesting.
yeah, I remember going back home. I mean, by saying home is here in Minnesota, from Vietnam. The next day, I went straight to Phở Viet 126 to get bún bò Huế because when I had bún bò Huế in Vietnam,
Yeah.
it just didn't taste the same.
Interesting. I never thought that. I gotta tell you, like, I've been to Hong Kong and China like twice in my
Yeah.
life, right? And I felt like the chicken there. And last time I was there was 1989, so it shows how old I am. But the chicken tasted so much better than here. Like it's more the meat was more flavorful.
Yeah.
Because they don't put all those antibiotics in it, and they don't plump it up to get more weight on it, right? For feed or whatever, to get more weight to sell.
Yeah.
So I always felt like the chicken was tastier there if you're just eating a piece of chicken from there. So much better.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And if you want to get I don't know how it is in China, but in Vietnam we have the term called walking chickens. So we would have factory chickens and walking chickens. Well, walking chickens is the same as pasture raised chickens here, because they get to have full access to green pasture. They eat grass and they eat worms, and they will have grain food as well, but they get to walk around, so their meat is actually a lot more flavorful. And they I think it's called heritage chicken, and then they're raised on pasture. Yeah, if I were to eat chicken, I would buy pasture raised heritage chickens just because the meat tastes like home, like Vietnam. Whereas the chickens that I would buy from Walmart, for example, those chickens are raised in a very small space. They don't get to walk around, and very poor living condition. Some of them couldn't even walk, and they have very short lifespan. They're harvested very early, and that's why the meat didn't have enough time to develop this flavor and nutrition.
Uh,
Yeah, so
We're
there's
going
a
to get into
difference.
that a little bit later
Yeah.
because maybe I'm so excited that you're a biochemist and then you're dealing with food now that I'm just like, I got to jump into that right away. But what's more interesting, I feel, well, that's really interesting. But usually I'd like to talk a little bit more about,
Mhm.
now you came over here at like 19, right?
Yeah.
And probably just not that long ago. And you ended up starting off at North Hennepin.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about your experience, the schooling here and everything.
Yeah. School system. The school system in Vietnam is very vigorous, but cookie cutter. There's only one curriculum, only one way to teach, and one way to learn. I didn't fit into that mold. I recently realized that I have dyslexia. So learning in Vietnam was a struggle for me. I was never on top of my class. I always struggled. Well, when I was in 10th grade, my final exam in chemistry, I scored a 2 out of 10.
And now you're a biochemist.
Yeah? It's like I wasn't built for the cookie cutter environment. So that was really different. I thought that science was not for me. I didn't enjoy it. Coding was not for me. I didn't have the logical brain to do it, but now I do a lot of coding and I use biochemistry every single day. Yeah. But North Hennepin. So at first, when I got to North Hennepin, the first few semesters were just learning English. That was very fun. And then at first, my major was in marketing. Now I still wonder, why wouldn't I stick to that? I love marketing. But I first wanted to major in marketing because it has always been my dream to be a hairdresser.
Okay.
To have my own salon and be the biggest hairstylist there is. So that's why I wanted to go for marketing. But then one of the classes that we had to take in order to graduate was biology. So I took the biology class with Dr. Mans, and I absolutely loved the materials. I remember waking up at 5 a.m. Oh, I still have goosebumps thinking about it. I remember waking up at 5 a.m. I was so excited to jump into studying.
Well, I don't hear too many people ever say that. Like, ooh, I can't wait to get up and do homework and get into this.
Well, to me, it wasn't even homework. It was just learning about how things work, and we had lab. So we would collect data during lab, and then we get to analyze it after and make a report, see what worked, what didn't work, what we learned from it, what we can do next time. I absolutely loved that. I love data analysis.
Yeah.
So that was when I changed my major into biology. I absolutely loved the material, and I remember Dr. Mann would let us bring a cheat sheet into the exam because there are a lot of things to remember. I never brought any notes into the exams because I understood the materials and I really didn't need the cheat sheet.
Yeah.
I just came in and...
Well, you had a passion for it, it sounded like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that could have happened because I performed so poorly.
Especially a 2 out of 10 in
Oh my
a chemistry
gosh.
test.
I hated chemistry. I thought that chemistry and me wouldn't survive together. And so if you were to talk to a 16-year-old, my 16-year-old aunt that, hey, you will use a lot of chemistry in your life, I would laugh. But
That's funny.
Here I am.
Yeah, and you just never know where life takes you. And that's the reason why I love doing these podcasts, because I get to hear people's different stories. And it never seems like it's a straight road to where they're going, right? You know? And we talked a little bit about North Hennepin so far, but Minnesota, how in the heck did you choose Minnesota from Vietnam halfway around the world? Like, you could have picked any other place, and there's not a lot of snow in Vietnam.
No, no.
It doesn't get that cold there.
My aunt lives here, and I also have cousins living in Minnesota, so that's why I chose to come here. Well, the question is, you should ask me why the heck am I still here 10 years later?
Yes, why the heck are you still here in Minnesota? That first year you said, man, it's too cold.
Like when I was in Vietnam, I did some research about Minnesota, and all that I learned was that it's the refrigerator of America, so it's very cold.
Right.
And I saw all the snow. I hope you want to sit down. Yeah. So in my head, Minnesota was filled with ice, and the snow was up to the knee at least, if not to the hip. And I remember my cousin telling me that the wind was so strong that it blew her phone away, and then she couldn't find it. She had to get a new one. And I'm like, well, there must not be a lot of people living in Minnesota. So the first time I landed in Minnesota was during the winter, and on the ride back to my aunt's place, there was traffic jam. I'm like, dude, people actually live here enough to make traffic jam?
Right.
That blew my mind.
The other thing that I think that we get a reputation for is we get a lot of snow, right? Like so much snow, and when you're short and you have big snowstorms, if you fall over, you can die. People may not be able to find you. I mean, that's like so I always thought that short people should wear one of those bike flags. So you can see them walking around over the snow.
I thought about putting a balloon on my shoulder.
Yeah, so people can see you if you fell over in the snow. But yeah, so you went to North Hennepin from that, which is amazing, coming over when you're 19 and really fitting in. And then you got to Augsburg, right? You transferred out of North Hennepin, which kind of that's a natural progression from a community college into a 4-year degree. But Augsburg is a pretty good school.
I couldn't have asked for a better education at both North Hennepin and Augsburg. So I spent a few years at North Hennepin, and then transferring to Augsburg was a no-brainer. I did a lot of research. At that point, I was still an international student on a student visa. And going to Augsburg was actually a lot cheaper for me than going to the U, even though Augsburg is a private university,
Right.
But it was still a lot cheaper. And I was very interested in doing research and data analysis, so I reached out to David Groh. He was my mentor, and the rest was history.
Yeah, and part of it at Augsburg, I've heard that, like, even like Notre Dame, sometimes if you go to the University of Notre Dame out in South Bend, Indiana, and everybody thinks it's expensive, but if you apply for the right scholarships and the right grants, you can go there because the alumni likes to support people from there. And I heard that that's something that you ended up with. How did that come about?
Yeah. So I transferred to Augsburg in 2020, which was when the pandemic hit. And when the pandemic hit, tuition was an issue because we don't have the option to take student loan because back then I was on my visa. So I was like, oh, how am I going to pay my tuition? My parents from home, they run a business as well. And, during the pandemic, everything shuts down. So it was very difficult for them as well. And up until then, they supported my education. So I was very worried. I'm like, how am I gonna pay for for my tuition? And out of nowhere, I received an email from Augsburg saying, "Hey, you got this scholarship that paid for your tuition and health insurance."
Wow.
And it couldn't have come in a better time.
And they covered that for all the years that you were there?
No,
Or just
it was for the first
first year?
semester.
Okay.
But
That's still huge.
but that was very big, so I can focus
Yeah.
on my studies. Um, and yeah, I still get very emotional thinking about that scholarship from the
Yeah.
Petersons because without their support, it would have been very hard for me to focus on school. But this is something about Augsburg community as well. They're a very supportive community, and Augsburg's goal is to support students by all means. And during that time, they put tuition and dorm fees on hold. We didn't have to pay for dorms. They said you can pay it later. You don't have to pay for it now. We're not going to kick you out. Just stay and focus on school. I still have goosebumps thinking about that. You can only get that at a small
Private
college.
school. Oh, for
At a
sure.
private
For sure.
school. I know a lot of my friends at the public schools got kicked out and
Yeah.
they had to go back home to their home country.
To the home country too.
Yeah, because they.
So yeah, I didn't even think about the. I just think like because I'm so the norm, right? Like during the pandemic, actually, Dan was at University of Minnesota Duluth, and we talked
Oh,
about this
yeah.
a little bit. But his deal was they still like charged him for everything. Like you couldn't use like the gyms, you couldn't use everything, but it was still the fee was on the tuition that you had to pay,
Yeah.
which was just kind of crazy because they had shut everything down. But yeah, I think private schools they can have that flexibility. Say, we're not going to charge people for the usage of stuff because
No.
of that.
Like you don't even have to pay for dorm
Yeah.
because you can't afford to, and your
Yeah.
parents can't help you pay. So, but yeah, I I do get life insurance from work,
Okay.
and I buy my own life insurance as well, and I put Augsburg as the sole beneficiary
Yeah.
because without them, I wouldn't be who I am right now.
Wow.
And I remember my life insurance broker asked me, he's like, "Are you sure?" Because no one has put an organization as the sole beneficiary before. It's all just husband and wife, and well, I don't have a husband, so I'm not gonna put my husband on there.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they if anything were to happen, Augsburg will get a lot of funding
Wow.
from me.
I love your gratitude. I really do. That's so awesome. So you went to Augsburg, you finished up with a biochemistry and math degree. So at what point did you connect? This is my favorite part now talking about this now. At what point did you connect the food with the science?
That's a good question. Well, I always look at things in its chemical form. So, for example, if I look at leaves, I see a whole bunch of nitrogen laying around. Or when I do the dishes and look at soap, I see it as a molecule with one side of the molecule liking water, the other side of the molecule doesn't like water. That's why soap grabs onto oil so well. And when you rinse it, the other end would stick to the water and remove the oil away. I always look at things
Yeah.
chemically.
Yeah.
And when it comes to food, I have always looked at it that way since I took biochemistry. Yeah, I guess since I took biochemistry, that was when I linked food and everything in life with biochemistry.
And Barb Munson,
Yeah.
she calls you the chemist baker. What does that mean to you?
I think that I love that nickname from Barb.
Yeah.
Because I remember her husband Pete was asking on like which on, and she was like the chemist baker, and he was like yeah, the chemist baker.
Yeah.
I feel like now that is my brand.
Yeah.
Well, what was the question? Sorry, I
What
forgot.
does being a chemist baker mean to you?
Oh, what is being a chemist?
Called the chemist baker. Like I feel like it's so scientific, right?
Yeah.
Like when I do like when I cook on my grill, like just doing a smoke thing, right? I don't feel it's as much chemistry. Like you throw it together, you can put some sauces on there. It doesn't have to be exact. I don't have to go, I need a 3/4 cup of this. But I think in baking and
Yes.
any of that stuff, you have to be almost exact. Otherwise, it's not going to turn out very well.
Yeah. I think being a chemist baker is something that's unique to me, and it serves me well. The chemist background, the chemistry background and biology background really helps me with developing recipes that actually taste good and with healthier ingredients. Because nowadays, for example, if we were to use bleach flour actually act a lot better in baked goods. It yields softer cakes compared to unbleached flour. So it's like, how do I change the liquid amount in order to compensate for that? And looking at the protein percentage in the flour would help me determine if it's a good option for the cake or the cheesecake or even ice cream, for example.
Well, when I think of the chemist baker, I'm still amazed because people don't always like. I've had cakes that are like gluten free, right? And they're just hard. They're not tasteful. They're just like the texture isn't right. The taste is off, right? I just know that you made the lactose free cakes, and I could not tell the difference.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to lactose free, it should be very hard to detect because lactose is a kind of sugar, and then when we treat it with the enzyme lactase, it breaks down to some other form of sugar. You shouldn't be able to detect it, but you brought up gluten. Gluten free is the trickiest thing to bake.
Yeah.
My goal was to create a chocolate gluten free cake that tastes exactly the same as my original chocolate cake. That took me 10 tries to get it right. I remember the first gluten free chocolate cake, it wasn't even edible. It was as hard as a rock. It was dry, it was hard. It was not edible. I wouldn't feed it to anyone. And it got up to version 8 that it started to be edible, but the color was off because gluten-free flour used less dark color compared to the real gluten cake.
Yeah.
So we have to add, don't share with anyone, but it was brown sugar to kind of mimic the moisture and color.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we finally stopped at version 10. And at version 10 forward, people actually told me that they prefer the gluten-free chocolate cake. They couldn't tell that it was gluten-free, but it was so soft and it didn't fall apart when they eat it. and it wasn't grumbly
Yeah.
and grainy. I'm like, yes. You don't know how much time it took
I
to
can
get
imagine.
there, but
I've had some gluten-free cakes, and they can be bad sometimes. Some of them get close, but you can still tell a big difference. But I just know everything you've made that we've had is amazing. So,
oh, thank
you
you.
know, one of the things that you've said, food is your love language. How does feeding people? What does feeding people kind of mean to you in that sense?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you resonate with this, but in our Asian culture, we show love by feeding people. Does
Yes.
it apply
Well, we
to
just talked about it, right? Like
humans?
eat more
Yeah,
food,
yep.
and they'll say you're fat, eat more vegetables, but then yet they'll throw on all fatty food in your bowl as much
Yeah,
as they can.
all the ducks and
Yeah,
pork and
exactly.
beef, like
Yep.
bao buns and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, feeding people is my love language. And I just enjoy seeing people enjoying the food.
Yeah.
And it makes me happy. And running a bakery, sometimes people would show me videos, like reaction videos of their loved ones,
Yeah.
and seeing like the oohs and ahs of the kids' reaction, like, oh, it makes it so worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that what food means to you, but when you actually get it out to some people, like I love the story about how you really develop some relationships with some foster kids, and then you bring them cake. Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah.
That really touched me, actually. I thought that
Aw.
was amazing.
Oh, well, and that is the essence of Sprinkle of Hope. I wanted to name our bakery Sprinkle of Hope is because sprinkling hope onto the community is something that's very important to me. Well, because like back in college, I wouldn't survive my first few semesters at Augsburg if it wasn't for the generous scholarship from the Petersons. So receiving that scholarship made me realize the 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 power that we have on other people's lives to change their lives into a better chapter. And I carry that with me because I do understand that as a human, I have the ability to make a difference. So that's why Sprinkle of Hope happens. And we bake free birthday cakes for foster kids because, back in college, I volunteered at Children's Hospital, and seeing what kids had to go through before entering the foster system, seeing the bruises on, oh, I had goosebumps thinking about it. Seeing the bruises on their skin, both inside and outside. Like, kids should never have to go through any of this.
It's neglect and abuse. It's just
Neglect,
sad.
yeah, neglect, abuse, loss,
Yeah. Isolation.
isolation, and they have to defend themselves from people who were who were supposed to be their protectors.
Yeah, and somebody that they trust. How
Mhm.
do you gain back that trust when you're
Yeah.
like at that age and not
Mhm.
understanding what that is?
Yeah. So I like seeing what the kids had to go through. I'm like, and that foster parents actually open their arms and bring the kids in, show them love
Yeah.
and show them support. Those are the heroes
Yeah.
in my eyes. Like, foster parents are the heroes because they do break the cycle of violence and neglect and imprisonment.
For sure.
Yeah, and I also understand that financial burdens is a big thing for foster parents because they're not supported adequately from the government.
Yeah.
So a lot of time foster parents pay out of pocket for a lot of the kids' need. So if we were able to give kids their birthday cake, it takes some financial burden off of the foster parents' shoulder. And also, a lot of times for foster kids being through so much, a birthday cake to them is not just a birthday cake, it's also something to celebrate. To celebrate their existence in life, to celebrate the fact that they're being loved, to celebrate the fact that they're appreciated. And I remember one of the foster moms sent me a video of her 9-year-old foster child with my cake, and she was crying when she saw the cake. It was tailored for her liking. She was like, I want mermaid, as much mermaid tail as possible. And yeah, it was filled with mermaid tails and seaweed, and it was pink, according to her request. And she looked at the cake and she was crying. And then her mom told me that she's 9 years old, but this is her first birthday cake ever. And she was so touched.
Wow.
And that was a full circle for me, because one of the kids that inspired me to do this, she was 8 years old, and she was hospitalized because she was neglected. And now being able to bake a cake for a 9-year-old, and that knowing that this 9-year-old is so loved by her foster parents, it's a full circle moment for me, knowing that these kids have been through so much in life, but they are protected and taken care of by their foster parents.
Yeah, and you're a
Yeah.
big part of that too, even though it feels a little smaller, but that memory is what you've created for them. They can trust people in the world again
Yes.
with people like you and the foster
Thank you.
parents. So it's pretty amazing.
Oh, thank you. And we have this picture here. So I would dress as a fairy sometimes, and I would go to shelters that have kids and serve them cakes. Because knowing what kids went through before they go to the shelter, knowing that they have been through violence, neglect, and they have witnessed a lot. Yeah. And when I came in to see them at the shelter as a cake fairy, they were so fascinated by my wings, the butterflies on my hair, and my corset, and especially the cakes that I bring in. They were always fascinated with all the details and the piping and the candies that I put on there. Yeah, just seeing that they have so much light in their eyes, and they were kids. In my eyes, they were kids.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything to worry about. Well, they didn't have anything to worry about when I was there. They were just there enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying being safe, enjoying the cakes. And it's like, I'm glad to see that they're being kids.
Yeah.
And my hope was that when they leave the shelter eventually, well, being in the shelter for kids is a scary place.
Oh, for sure.
Because yes, when they were home, it wasn't safe, but it was all that they know. But removing them from what they were familiar with to the shelter, it was a shock to them. But my hope was that when they move on to a safer place and look back at their time at the shelter, they remember the fairy. And it was a good memory to them.
Yeah. And tell us a little more about the clarity of the fairy. Like, there was an idea behind being the fairy behind it. It's to give them a little bit of something that they never really get. Am I correct in saying that? Because I
Yeah.
think we talked about that. It's almost like a unicorn. That's why kids are so happy to see unicorns, right? Fairy has that same sense. Like,
Yeah.
I never get to see a fairy, and now I have my own fairy.
Yeah. And I just absolutely love how fascinated the kids were. Even the bigger boys, they loved seeing the fairy. Well,
Yeah.
some of them would tell me, "Hey, you gotta upgrade your wings to make it look more like a fairy." So I did. But I remember there was a time that when I was gonna leave the shelters, I was standing, right? And I have kids on both of my legs just hugging onto my legs like koalas.
Yeah.
It's like, "Hey, can you stay a little more?" And then I I had to walk to the doors with both kids hanging on to my legs. And I thought that was very sweet.
That is really sweet.
They really enjoyed it.
You're making a difference in a lot of those kids' lives, which is amazing.
Thank you. Being younger, I don't have the financial means to give back yet.
Yeah.
So I hope that I can contribute to the community with different things like cakes, my time.
Yeah, and
My
you're
effort.
you're
Yeah.
doing it such a high level right now. You talk about your pay it forward. You've done that so much from Augsburg to now because I feel like you were really, from the sense of the story, you were really helped by Augsburg, the alumni, the Petersons, and now it's like that drive for you to pay it forward. Tell us a little more about the pay it forward.
Yeah, I think what I'm doing to support foster kids is one way for me to pay forward. I met with a Peterson after I graduated from Augsburg to check in, to let them know what I'm doing, and just to tell them how much their scholarship meant to me, and I wouldn't be here without them. And I told them that I want to do a million things. I want to support international students because they don't have good access to healthcare. I want to fund scholarship for students. I want to fund dental funding for students who can't afford it. And I have a million things that I wanted to do. But I remember what the Peterson told me was when oh
Bless you.
bless you,
Bless you,
Hope.
Hope.
when you choose to support a cause, to choose the one thing that you have your heart in and focus on that. And yeah, I eventually know that I want to support the foster care system and make the kids feel as loved
Yeah.
as possible.
We need more people like that around the world, or just different things, because my passion really is for disabled adults that don't have the capacity to advocate for themselves, and they're living longer now. They're outliving their parents sometimes, and their parents might be their only advocate.
Yeah.
They can't really speak for themselves, right? Like, and not one is better than another. We just need a lot of different people helping different type of people, right? And I know part of it that I brought you on is you're running a business, and I know it's about, and sometimes I think people get kind of like, I'm always trying to find the right term for this. Like, if you feel like you're making like a lot of money and like you're just like, people can look at that and go, man, you're greedy, right? But there was a certain point in my life about 10, 15 years ago, like, I want to make as much money as I can, not because I'm greedy, but it's how much good can I do in this world before I leave? Because I know I'm not taking it with me. But the good I want to do is I want to be able to help, disabled adults. I think yours is like, I want to be able to help foster children have a better life. Like, emotionally, it's hard for those people. And talking about your business a little bit, I know that you're going through some changes right now, which is, challenging, but yet I see it as a huge blessing for you because you already make amazing cakes, and you talk about now you're getting into gelato and some creamery.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. The reason why I wanted to go for gelato was that I need sprinkle of hope to be profitable, because last year it wasn't profitable, which was okay. I got to learn how to bake better, how to be a better baker. I got to bake a lot of cakes for both of my clients and foster kids.
And you blessed a lot of kids with that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so we actually lost money last year, but I'm like, if I want to pay it forward in a bigger scale, Sprinkle of Hope has to be profitable, so I can use that money to financially support the foster kids and their parents. So that's why I'm like, baking cakes is, on average, one cake takes me about 4 to 5 hours. People don't see the behind the scene, but everything was from scratch. I don't use box cake mix, which would have saved me a lot of time, but
people can tell processed food.
And I am very conscious of what goes into my body. Like, taking biochemistry, I appreciated so much what has to go on for my body to function. There's a million things that have to go well for my body to function, for your body to function. It's a very well-made machine, so we have to give it the right fuel for it to keep running. Otherwise, it will break down. So yeah, I buy everything from local farms. If possible, I would buy it locally. So my flour is from North Branch, dairy is from Forest Lake, and eggs is from Dundas, south of us. Yeah. So everything's local. Most of it is local, except for the sugar. Yeah, and it's very time consuming and it's expensive. So that's why we lost money last year, which is fine. Yeah. I still have my researcher job that fund my business for now. But like, I have to go with something that people can eat daily, so that we can make a profit out of it. So there comes gelato, and my vision is that our gelato would always be sugar-free. I believe that dessert, like daily dessert, should be something that you can eat every day without compromising your diet. So our gelato would be sugar-free, wheat-free, which makes it gluten-free, and it would be made from local ingredients. So we are thinking about getting all of our supply from Autumnwood Farm, from Forest Lake, and also we are working on a dairy-free line, and that would be coconut gelato. And you can't grow coconut here in Minnesota. So I will be sourcing our coconut products from Vietnam to support my community in Vietnam.
That's awesome. That's a lot of stuff to take in right now. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a break, and we'll come back and talk with Hope and An a little more after, I just been watching some of the old shows, The Love Connection. We'll be back in 2 and 2. At Twin City Tales Podcast, we believe in strong communities are built by people and organizations willing to care for others. That's why we are proud to support Hammer and NER, an incredible Minnesota nonprofit helping adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities live life to the fullest. Their work creates opportunity, dignity, independence, and connection right here in our community. If you'd like to help, Hammer and NER is always looking for volunteers, advocates, and donations to continue their mission. I am one of those people that highly help that community out. Learn more, get involved, or give back at hammer.org. Together, we can continue building a stronger, more compassionate community for everyone. Ever walk into a house and flip a switch and have no idea what it actually does? Like, is it a light, an outlet, or something in the garage? Nobody knows. Or what about when you plug in something into an outlet and it just slowly falls out like it's giving up on life? Or worse, the outlet just doesn't work at all. Well, we see that stuff every day. At Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric, we help homeowners take care of those small electrical issues before they turn into bigger problems. Loose outlets, dead plugs, mystery switches, we'll track it down, fix it right, and make your home actually work the way it's supposed to. So if something feels off electrically, it probably is. Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric, built here, stays here. Feel the difference. Before we jump back into the conversation, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying Twin City Tales, please take a second and hit that subscribe or follow button. It helps us share these amazing local stories with more people throughout the Twin Cities. And if you've gotten value from an episode, learned something new, or simply enjoyed hearing somebody's story, consider leaving us a rating or a review. It may only take a minute, but it makes a huge difference in helping others find our show. You can listen to Twin City Tales podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to follow us on Twin City Tales Facebook page, where you'll find behind some scenes content, upcoming guests, episode highlights, and a few surprises along the way. Most importantly, thank you. This podcast is all about celebrating the people, businesses, organizations, and stories that make our communities special. And none of this happens without you. I truly appreciate your support. Now let's get back to the reason why you're here. Another great Twin Cities story. And remember, life is too short for bad stories, bad coffee, or bad service. Can't go wrong with Wymond on Twin City Tales podcast. And this is the portion that we come to where we have some pictures of you. And you got some cute pictures, and just love this one. And this one must have been your brother. You and your brother at about the age of like maybe 8?
I think that was when I was like 15, 16.
Really? You guys, you
So
don't look that old.
I was 15 or 16 in that picture, and my brother
Really?
was 9 years younger than me.
And he's bigger than you.
Well, I was sitting down.
Oh, okay.
In that picture, I was probably taller than him.
Okay.
Yeah.
You look tiny there.
Thank you. But yeah, we make a point to recreate this picture at different timeline.
I think we had that. I think you. Well, maybe
that
not.
Was before.
No,
Yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah.
But that's such a cute picture of you.
Thank you.
Now, this must have been in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And how old were you there? This is by yourself. It must have been a school uniform, possibly.
It wasn't a school uniform.
Because that's the cool thing about the different cultures. They make you wear a school uniform.
Yeah. I think that was when I was in 11th grade. And the funny thing is...
Wow, you look so young for 11th grade there.
Well, I hope I still look young now.
You still look young, but I would have never guessed that. Looking at that picture, I'd be like, middle school, maybe?
Well, I tell you what. When I was at Costco, one of the ladies refused to give me the sample because she said, "Well, if you're under 12, you have to have your parents here." Like, I graduated college a while back. Like 12?
So you
At least 18, you know?
You must get carded all the time if you're trying to go to a bar or get
I hate that.
alcohol. I can imagine you probably get that all the time.
My friends told me that they only get carded when they're around me.
That's funny. That's funny. That's fantastic. And then this You talked about climbing a mountain, and
Yes.
is this your parents, or is
Um,
that you?
the
And it's
one,
hard. It's a little farther
yeah,
distance.
that was me in the uh yellow hat, and that was my dad.
Okay, it's just a little further away, so I couldn't tell if
Yeah.
that was you or not.
So me and my dad.
And that's when you went mountain climbing, just more recently.
Yes. Yeah. I was home back in February, and I told my mom to sign me up as a family. We will hike Mount Fansipan together because it's the tallest mountain in Vietnam. So yeah,
Wow, and tell us a little more about why you decided to do that, because you said you were afraid of heights at one time.
I have the most intense fear of height. Um, it I just freeze when I see that I'm high up. My knees would start to get weak. I can't move. I would be in fight or flight and freeze mode. Yeah, I was heights is the thing that would give me an anxiety attack. So I decided that I'm not gonna let my fear dictate what I can and cannot do. So I'm just gonna face my fear and go to the extreme of climbing the highest mountain in Vietnam. And it was about 10,500 feet, and we climbed 10,500 feet elevation, and we started from the base of the mountain.
Wow.
It was a 2-day trip.
Yeah, and that's high up there too, because you start losing oxygen. You feel the difference.
Yes. When I got up to day 2, and we were at about 8,000 feet and up elevation, I got really tired physically. But the physical part wasn't the hard part. When the brain lacks oxygen, I also lost the motivation to keep going. And I was really discouraged. But there was no other way. You can't go back. The only way is up. If I go back, no one would go with me, and I was with my family and a tour guide. So it was so hard. I had to go 1, 2 steps and then take a 10-second break and 1, 2 again, just 2 steps at a time. And in this picture, you didn't really see the elevation, but a lot of the hike would be straight up.
Yeah.
So we had to use we have to use 4 limbs to climb up the mountain, and it was a lot of ladders.
Yeah.
But we made it, and I think I also sent you a picture of us on top.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know if I got the one on top. Was this the top?
No,
one?
that was still that was the
that's
one on top.
Gotcha.
So we all got our certificate
Oh.
and our medallion. I actually felt a lot more proud
Yeah.
to get up here than graduating college.
Really?
Because it was one of the hardest things. Like, it's not just physical, it's also about the mind.
Yeah. Well, I can
And-
imagine. It's like you're losing oxygen and you're just trying to claw your way up to the last part of it.
And it was also the intense fear of height that
Yeah.
made it somewhat difficult. Well, saying somewhat was an understatement. Very difficult.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the hike would be on a stiff cliff, but the pathway was only this wide, so about 2 to 3 feet,
Mhm.
and there's no railing. You just have to walk with a
Yeah.
backpack on your back. And if we were to fall down, there was no way of getting up. It was very steep.
There had to have been people falling though at some point.
Not that I have heard of.
Okay.
But one thing the tour guide told me, if you think the road is straight, if you think the road is flat, it is flat. Don't let your mind get in the way.
Oh,
And
interesting.
that was such a good advice.
Yeah.
Just think that it's an easy road. Your mind will carry you along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
And
brain does powerful things.
yeah, our brain is so powerful.
Yeah.
It
Amazing.
can drive us to do crazy things. Yeah. So there we are. My parents were like, "This is a one and done thing. We will never come back."
But they accomplished it, which is super cool.
And who can say that they get to accomplish this with their
Yeah.
family?
Yeah, with the family. Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. No doubt. That is so awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I regretted going on this trip 4 hours in
Yeah.
because I was so tired
You're like, why did I even do
and
this?
it was so challenging.
Yeah.
But now looking back, I was so glad that we made it
And
as
you're
a
blessed.
family.
And you're blessed to be able to have the opportunity.
Yes.
That's the cool thing about
Yes.
it.
Yeah, and because most people would get on top by the car cable,
Yeah.
which took
Oh, so it'll take you up by cable car.
yeah.
Oh, that'd be my trip.
They will take you up by they will take you up by cable car, and when we got to the top, people were dying. They're like, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with elevation sickness, and they took the cable car up.
Yeah. I think it's different because I remember going up to Pikes Peak in
Uh-huh.
Colorado, and that's 14,000 feet, I believe.
Mm.
You can really feel the difference, and your brain starts being oxygen deprived. And they had a little gift shop upstairs with at the top with like some food, right?
An oxygen tank.
Well, they had oxygen.
Yeah.
They had these weird little oxygen like sprayer things. They didn't have the
Yeah.
oxygen tank, but I bet you.
Mm.
But they had these like chips or yogurt. You can get some nutrients up there, but they were all puffed up because they make it at the lower level, and then when they get up there, it puffs up. I remember telling the lady at the counter, like, "I think your yogurt's bad because it's all puffing." I was, no, that's just the way they come because
That's
they're higher
funny.
elevation, because the less oxygen, it's not as heavy. So it
That's
wasn't
funny.
holding it in. They say
Yeah.
that when they bring up product up to those like
Mhm.
Pikes Peak, there'd be a lot of potato chips because they explode because it's so much, the air loosens up and it expands so much that
Yeah.
they'll explode the bags, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
So that's super cool. Let me see here. And the other one that I have, of course, your family climbing that mountain.
Yes.
Was that at the beginning? Like everybody's happy?
No, this
Was that halfway through?
Well, we tried to smile for the photos. But this was the point that we're almost to the summit.
Okay.
And this was the point of the hike that I was going 2 steps and take 10 seconds
Oh, wow.
rest, 2 steps and then take 10 seconds rest.
Okay.
My parents and my brother were very supportive. My parents actually trained really hard for this trip. They trained 3 hours a day.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
you have to train for
I
this
suppose,
trip
yeah.
because my tour guide told me that about 20% of people couldn't make it to the top. They had to be carried up.
Who's going to carry them? And
The-
especially if I'm doing it, they're going to look at me and go, "Dude's too fat. I ain't carrying you up."
The tour guide are very strong. They can pick you right you all the way on to the top.
Yeah, but not the fat guy. They're not going to go. They're gonna go, "Dude, you're on your own." I know if it was me, I would be saying that. Like, yeah, I ain't carrying you up there.
Well, but you said that you would use the cable car.
I would
by
use the
way.
cable car,
Yeah.
I think.
We actually used the cable car to go down.
Okay.
My parents, my mom's knees really hurt going up, and I don't think she can make it going down.
So let me ask you this. When you go up, do you pay for the cable car going down, or do you pay for it when you get up there?
We pay for the cable car to go down when we were on top.
Exactly. So if you're a business person, you'd be like, okay, if you want to buy the cable car before you go up, it's like, I don't know what the price is. It's like $10. But when you're up there, that just became $40.
Yeah.
Because people are looking at it going, ooh, that was a rough hike up. And now I got to climb back down. I think I'll take the cable car
They
no matter
should
what
do
the
that.
cost.
Yeah, they should do that. And it was expensive. It was
I suppose.
$25
Yeah.
to go down.
But well worth it if you're like, oh my goodness, this was a hard hike.
But on the way down, we get to see the surrounding.
The view, yeah.
The view and seeing how far we've been just on foot.
Yeah.
It was surreal. Like, how did we make this? We were like ants. We
Yeah.
were so small.
That is so incredibly awesome. Now, the last picture I'm going to show you. Okay, now don't tell me like you're 12 years old here.
No, it's actually, you can see the number 2 on there.
You were 2, yeah. That's
Yes.
funny. But you were such an adorable kid. Look at you.
I hope my mom thinks so too. I was a difficult kid.
Yeah, but you were adorable. So if you could go back, and you're saying this is like 16 years when
Yeah.
you're 16. If you go back in time, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give on at that age?
I would say I was very insecure about my look back then. Because I had smaller eyes and a smaller nose and fuller lips, which are not desirable traits in the Vietnamese culture or Southeast Asia culture in general. But I'm just gonna tell her, be confident in your features, be confident in your looks. The reason why butterflies are so beautiful is because they're all different from each other. They all have their unique features. And that's what makes butterfly beautiful. They have their own beauty.
Yeah.
And don't compare yourself with anyone. Be happy with your looks. Be confident in yourself.
That's a beautiful thing to say. I agree with you. There's so many things that society has put on us culturally. And I know I jokingly say I'm fat. And sometimes I just got to embrace it. I also know that, like, if you look at the Asian culture, like their cartoons or their, even just their TV, they try and make everybody have rounder eyes and lighter hair. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? And is it the right thing to do? I don't think it is, because I think all different people have different beauty features in them. So you're right. I love that idea of saying, hey, just have more confidence in yourself. But it's so hard when you're 16 years old and people are, the society, TV, internet is showing you things what they deem, the society deems as beautiful, and it's not always that.
And it's so unhealthy.
Yes,
It's like-
emotionally and physically.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
and
you're a
then-
beautiful kid there, so
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, back then I didn't think so. And it took me a while to understand that, well, I have good features. It might not be desirable back home, but together it looks fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with my eyes. My eyes,
Absolutely.
like, I don't need eyelid surgery to have
Yeah.
a beautiful face, or I don't need a nose job, or I don't need to make my lips smaller,
Yeah.
or change my face structure to
I think
look
Hope
good.
agreed there too.
Thank you, honey. You look good in any angle.
So one of the other questions I always love to ask is, who is someone you would love to see or hear on this podcast?
Well, there are 2 people. The first one is you. I
Oh
would
my
love
goodness.
I would love for you to sit on my chair and have either Dan or Grace or even me interview you.
Oh, that'd be awesome. We could figure that out maybe.
Yeah. Because you have your own stories, and I would love to learn how you run this business, putting people first, putting service first, to put integrity at the top of your
Yeah.
priority. And like, I get to talk to some of your employees, and they have nothing but amazing things to say about you. And yeah, I just love to learn how you treat people, what is your motto in life,
Yeah.
and get to learn about your stories more.
I appreciate that. Wow, I'm honored.
Yeah.
And who's your second one?
Second one is Angela, your female electrician.
She's amazing. You would
Yes.
really like her. I need to get her on the podcast. We've had others, so
I would love to learn why she chose to be an electrician, and how did she become one. And I'm always curious if being a woman in the industry, is it an advantage, is it a disadvantage, or it doesn't really matter.
yeah.
Well,
I think it's like, as we've moved into this, the 20s, right? Like, I think back then, because Marianne from Archstone was in a highly male dominated engineering.
Yeah.
And she told the story about, like, she would go into these meetings, and those guys, this is 1980s, right? They'd be like, hey, go get me a cup of coffee, woman. Like, that was like the sexist thing, right? I'm actually having another female on here eventually here named Connie Hargis, and she used to work for Centerpoint Energy Madagascar. I'm not sure what her age is. I guess even if I did, I probably shouldn't say it. She is retired now, but she started as a person at Centerpoint Energy Madagascar as a meter reader. She worked in clerical, but a posting came up to be a service tech, and then she signed in for a service tech. She became a service tech in like 1978. And she was telling me the story about, like, she would go into homes with women that were at home and the husband was at work.
Yeah.
And the women wouldn't let her in the house because they said that she was taking a man's job away from a family to feed their family. Like, you're taking that's while they thought back then, though, right? Like, the male would make all the money and feed the family, and the woman should be at home cooking and not doing anything, right? But if that woman goes out and takes a job, maybe it should be as a cashier or a waitress. But if you're taking a position of, like, a man's job, you're taking away a family's opportunity to feed their family, right? Like, it's just so backwards thinking looking back at that. But then also in our culture, right? In the Asian culture, the norm was a guy could have 4, 5, 6 wives in the old days in China, right? Like, that was my dad's thinking. Like, and if you're wife number one, you're the most blessed because you're the number one wife. But there were number 3 wives, number 4 wives that were just like part of the chain, right? And that's just the norm, which is really sad. But you're right, it is kind of cool. And then having Angela as our fantastic electrician, she really is like, yeah, you should do a ride along with her and just like, she would love that, I bet.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Like, getting to learn about her. And it's like, I always wanted to see if I can be an electrician.
Yeah.
I have a very logical
You
brain,
do. I can
and
tell.
I'm good with my hands.
Yeah.
Like, that might work. I would be very happy doing it. Plus, I'm small, so if you have
get in tiny space,
so I can get into the tiniest growl space. and it
that's a big plus.
Yeah, and I have small fingers.
Yeah, that's a huge plus. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll have to really think about how to get Angela, and maybe we should talk about having you host a couple shows.
Oh, I would love that. I would. Well, if it's Angela's episode, I would love to host.
Okay. We'll have to figure that one out. That'd be fantastic. And then before you go, I have a few things for you.
Oh, my goodness.
A few gifts, a few parting gifts. So, of course, everybody that comes on, I love giving them a little thank you trophy.
Thank you.
For coming on the show. It's got your name on it even. On the back side, I have it, had it specially made for you.
Thank you. Hope.
If I had a dog biscuit, I would definitely give it to Hope there. I don't have one. And then, of course, a Twin C Heating and Air mug podcast, your very own.
Thank you.
And, what would it be if a Chinese guy didn't give you fortune cookies to wish you more fortune?
Thank you. Can we actually open ours?
You can.
What?
It has a little like safety thing there.
Can you open yours too?
Well, I have a bunch of them. I pack them, so I don't have my own right now. I have them over.
Oh, well, I always like these because they're actually true.
They come true.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I got more for you, by the way. That just isn't it. Like, nobody goes away here empty-handed. And I'm sure, like, when you cook food, what does it say?
You won't believe it.
What does it say?
Can you help me read it?
I will. You create a lasting impact on those around you.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. And you do that with the foster kids all the time. That is so amazing.
Is that a wonderful way to
yes,
close our
that's
podcast?
a great way to close the
Look,
podcast.
You create a lasting impact on those around you.
Yes, you do. That's awesome. You're leaving a legacy. And then talking about that, though, another one I have is A Beautiful Day Begins with a Beautiful Mind. This was crocheted. I got it online, but I feel like it's so you because you look at every day differently.
Oh, thank you so much.
And then my last one is I know you pay it forward by donating for the one Saints game that you bid it on. Was it at Purse Bingo or was it at a?
It was at the Purse bingo.
Yeah, and it went to a good
preemies.
cause. So yeah, but I decided I gave you another set of tickets personally because I know that it'd be great. You take Justin or somebody else you can enjoy the time at. Those Saints games are super fun. I know you're going tonight with a friend.
Yeah, thank you.
But it's not about the baseball, so don't worry if you don't know baseball.
I don't know anything.
They
about
have a
baseball.
lot of things going on constantly where you'll be entertained. So
thank
I
you.
guarantee you half the people that go to those games don't even know what the final score was. So, and it's not because they're drunk. I think it's just so much entertainment overload and stuff. So
Oh, thank you
you'll
so
have fun.
much.
Yeah.
And and I have to frame this.
Yes.
It's such a good
You can
way.
put it right in the bucket and you won't lose it. And it's a cute little bucket.
Yeah. Oh, and this is Hope. For those well, I don't think we introduced her, but this is Hope from Sprinkle of Hope.
And she's 6 years old.
She's 6 years old. Yeah.
And again, she's a poodle,
And Shih Tzu.
a Shih Tzu.
And what is her
Why did I always want to get a Shih Tzu poodle mix? Because
Yeah.
then I can say it's a Shitapoo.
Shitapoo? Huh? Yeah, Shitapoo?
Are we? Is that going to be censored, Dan? Again, I can't thank you enough, An, for being on our program. If
Thank
you
you
want to
so
learn
much.
more about An, you can actually go to her Facebook page at Sprinkle of Hope Bakery. In fact, she's working on some awesome gelato and creameries to help with the lactose free, I believe, right?
Yeah,
and
we'll
then
make it lactose free and wheat free.
Yeah, and if you ever
Sugar-free,
like me, I love your cake. So
Aw.
if you make anything like that, it'll be amazing. So, or you can actually visit us at Twin Sea Tales Facebook page, and we'll post some of it on there as we roll out of here. I want to thank Chris Hockey for the use of his song "Thanks," with no pun intended. This podcast is powered by Twin Sea Heating and Electric. And until the next show, just remember you can't go wrong with Wymond on your Twin Sea Tales podcast.